welcome to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Lexi. Here on my channel, I like to give unfiltered reviews on makeup, skincare products, household favorites, so that you know what you want to be spending your money on. Now, I know, and I have been a victim of the online hype around products and the overconsumption community. I want to be there for other people who struggle with the same thing, with influencers telling you to buy. I want you to know what's actually good and what's worth your money. With how crazy Sephora's prices are and every influencer telling you that you need to buy every product from every brand, I want to test these items and let you know what's actually worth your money. So without further ado, today we have a first impressions and try on of Sephora items that I picked up from the sale that are all highly recommended, and I want to let you know how I feel about them. I have tried a couple of these items, most of them actually, and I can give you my honest opinions about how they performed for the first couple of times, and then also show you on my actual face. And we can go through all these items. I'll let you know which ones that I think were worth my money and which that I would recommend not purchasing or returning. First things first, I'm gonna get my hair out of my face. Okay, so now that we've done that, the first thing I'm going to do is prep my face. Now, one of the first items that I have here that I would use the night before would be the Eadem Cashmere Peel Gentle Exfoliating AHA and PHA Toner. Now this claims to unclog and minimize pores deep down, improve skin texture and dullness, and reduce sebaceous filaments and blackheads. So that's the reason why I ended up picking this up. It has a great rating on Sephora. It has 4.8 stars out of 1,000 reviews. This toner has azelaic acid, lactic, and tranexamic acids. So I've only used this a handful of times. I really can't speak on the effectiveness of it yet, but it does have a really nice texture. Let me show you here. So I'll just pour it out. It's like a very milky texture. I have very sensitive skin, so it doesn't do anything weird, doesn't cause any flare-ups or anything with my skin, so that's a really good sign for me. But as to the effectiveness of it, I'm not really sure yet, but I will keep you posted on that. So the next thing that I would go in with is this Aestura A2 Barrier Cream. I have the jumbo size. It's the 150 milliliter size, and I actually get mine from Olive Young. The products are a little bit different between the original Asian skincare brand versus the one that they sell at Sephora. The ingredients are a tad different. I haven't even tried the US version, but I really do love this one that I get from Olive Young, but I do know it is available at Sephora. So here's the texture of it. It's just like any other face lotion in terms of texture, but I do really like it for how hydrating it is. It doesn't irritate my skin, and it feels really nice and silky smooth going on. The next thing I'm going to be using is eye cream. Now this one is from e.l.f. I do not support them after the whole controversy, but I am going to finish my eye cream here. So I don't recommend supporting them. Okay, so now that I've prepped my face with some lotion, I then go in with a sunscreen. This one is also from Olive Young. It's the Centella, the Madagascar Centella Hyalu-Cica Water Fit Sun Serum SPF 50, and I always go in with a sunscreen because you definitely want to protect your skin from the sun if you are going to be outside. So, and this one, again, I'm not sure if it's from Sephora, but this is just my base makeup before we get into my base for my makeup before we get into the actual makeup. So I have used this one many times, and it doesn't pill under my makeup. It looks really nice, and I will continue using it. The next thing that we're going to do is prime the face. So again, I do have another item from e.l.f. This is the last thing I have from e.l.f. in this whole video. It's almost out. As soon as this is out, I'm gonna go find something from a different brand. But this is the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. So one of the first highly recommended items that I got is this Merit Complexion Stick. I got it in the shade Chiffon. Now I have already tried this out. I'm going to zoom you in here. So while I do my face makeup, I'm just gonna have you really close and personal here. So this product was highly, highly recommended. And here's how she looks. And it is a lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. And I'm going to make it go all the way up for you so that you can see how much product actually comes in here. It actually does roll for quite a while, so you do get quite a lengthy amount of product in here. So I'm going to just use this as my foundation, as many people do and recommend to use as. So we're going to go ahead and go in with the foundation stick. Now what I do notice immediately using it, it does feel very creamy gliding onto my skin. One of the brushes that I purchased during the sale is this Saie buffing brush here. And so I'm going to see how it ends up working. It is just this very, it's just this very dense brush. It's very heavy, so it feels luxurious in my hand. But we're just gonna see how this works. I feel like this foundation needs a more sturdy, thick brush to blend it out just because of how thick it is, and once it goes onto the skin, it kind of just sticks there, so you probably aren't going to do well with just a beauty blender. I can show you how that turns out though. I'm just going to take my beauty blender here. This is a damp beauty blender that has no liquid coming out of it, so see what I mean? It kind of just stays in that same spot. So unless you want your beauty blender to just pick up all the product and then leave you with a streak there, you should probably use some sort of buffing brush for this foundation in particular. Normally I would go in with like this is like the usual foundation brush I would go in with. It's the NYX Foundation Brush. But because I just got this, I want to give it a try, test this, because a lot of people do recommend this Saie buffing brush. And for this product, I especially like it because it is really blending it out. Now I don't know how well it did covering up my redness. You can still see through it. I don't know if it's supposed to be a fuller coverage or buildable coverage. Let's see here. It's called the Minimalist Perfecting Complexion Foundation and Concealer Stick. So that tells me maybe it's not supposed to be. Okay, so it says it's buildable, light to medium coverage. It's lightweight, natural skin finish. Use all over or only where you need it. So it says it's buildable. Let's try to build upon it. We have some redness here that I would like to cover up. I have rosacea, so it does tend to peek through my foundation. So let's see how good of a job it does covering that up when you build it up. So as you can see, it didn't necessarily cover up the red, but it did mask it a little bit. And it does look very natural. Let me take a closer look here. Now I do feel like it's emphasizing my pores just a little bit here. And that's pretty normal for me with stick foundations. Normally stick foundations tend to be very drying on my skin because I do have, I have medium dry skin, and in some areas it's a little less dry or like normal. So normal to dry skin is what I would say that I have, usually around my nose and my mouth area is where I'll have some dryness. All right, so I think that's enough buffing and blending for now. I do really like the finish, and I can see why people maybe with a better complexion than I have would just use this on the go to kind of even out their face. For me, it's not really working because I do have such an uneven skin tone, or all throughout my face I have just uneven skin. So I would probably want something that's a little bit more fuller coverage and less light coverage. But maybe, like I said, if you have a little bit more of an even skin tone than me, this would work out for you. All right, so the next item that we have are these Westman Atelier bronzing sticks. So I have the shade Toast and Cocoa. And what I'm gonna say about these two shades is they are so similar, it's really hard to tell a difference between the two, so you probably don't need both. I wanted to see if one was maybe lighter than the other, but they are almost exactly the same. Here, let me show you. So this one is going to be Cocoa. That's Cocoa. And then here we have Toast. Now Toast may be just a little bit more orangey toned, and Cocoa is maybe just a little bit more red toned. Cocoa's on the top here, Toast is on the bottom here, but they're almost exactly alike. So what I've noticed is Toast comes off a little bit too orange on me. I know that they're marketing this towards people who are olive toned and need more of that like red undertone, but Toast definitely still has a bit of that orange to it, maybe like a burnt orange, but they're both almost identical. Nearly identical. I'm going to put one on either side just so you can see how it looks on the skin. So I'm going to go ahead and take Toast. I'm going to put it on my left side. I'm going to just take it right on a brush, and my left side, what you're seeing is my right probably. I'm going to go in with a little bit more. I'm going to go up one side of my nose. I'm going to bring it into my eye. Like that. Now, first impression of this, again, it's coming off way too orange for me. Just the way that they marketed it, made it seem like it wasn't going to be that way, but it's a different type of orange in my opinion. It's more of a burnt orange. Maybe this just isn't right for my skin tone. I'm gonna go ahead and go in with Cocoa on my right side. just gonna go and take it down my nose on this side, bring it up into my eyelid. So I'm not sure if you can tell a difference in the camera, but I sure can. This one is definitely a little bit more orange. This side is toast, and this side comes across as a little bit more burnt rose. It just has more of that red undertone to it. This one definitely looks a little bit better. I don't know about how well it looks on my skin, period, but let me know what you think. This side I think is definitely a little bit better than this side. Toast is a little bit more orange. Moving on. So the next item that I have here are the Westman Atelier blushes. Here I have 3. I picked up the shade Garçon, Petal, and Dodo. The first one that we have here is Garçon, and it actually is very similar to the bronzer shades. Let me show you. I'll just show you it compared to one. So here is Garçon. Definitely just has more of that red in it. And I'm just going to compare it to Cocoa because I believe that that's the one it's most similar to. Here we have, I'm just going to put it on this side so that you know that that is the bronzer. So pretty similar, like I said, it's just a little bit even more red. Again, that is Cocoa and this is Garçon. Very, very similar. So I'm sure that you could use Garçon as like a bronzer that is very reminiscent of Cocoa. The next one that I have here is Dodo. And I got these ones because they were recommended for cool olive or just olive skin tones so as to not show up orange. So here is Dodo. This one's definitely more of like a mauve, rosy pink tone. And then one of the recommendations was Petal. And this one appeared to be maybe cool toned on line, but on me it shows up pretty orangey, rosy toned. So here are all of them. So this is Cocoa, Garçon, Dodo, Petal. I do really like how creamy these are. They do have wonderful color payoff. Today I'm going to be using, I'll do Garçon and Dodo, and I'll do Garçon on this side, the one with Cocoa, and then Dodo on this side, just because, actually, I'm going to do Garçon on this side because I feel like it's so similar to Cocoa, and I wouldn't want the color to get mixed up with Cocoa, make it seem like it's all one color, my bronzer and my blush. And if you're doing a bronzer, that makes sense, but I'm not. So we're just gonna go in with it here. I'm just gonna pick it up with a brush. Now this one does come off as like I've just been outside all day. The sun has really bronzed up my face and I was at the pool. I don't know. It just gives that vibe where it's just like you're toasted. And I would say it's a very natural looking flush from the sun, if that makes sense. I almost forgot I do have new brushes that were highly recommended. It is the Makeup by Mario F4 brush. So we're gonna do our other side of our blush with the small end of it. So now I'm going in with Dodo on my right side. This one kind of matches my shirt today. This one's super pigmented. I'm gonna flip the brush over and kind of blend it in with the bigger side. I do love how creamy it is. It's very easy to blend. I'm just gonna pop some more right in the middle of it to get a little bit more color going there. And so this is Dodo. This side is Dodo and Coca. And this side is Garçon and Toast. I actually do really like how they both look. They kind of have their different occasions. This one really looks like I went out into the sun. I had a pool day, and it is just showing that toasted look that you can have. And then this one is a more pinky, vibrant, and also like kind of went out into the sun because of the cocoa. So I do really like them both. Again, I don't think you need Cocoa, Toast, and Garçon. When it comes to Petal, this is more of a peachy color on me. It's very peachy. It's an orange tone pink. As you can see the difference between Dodo and Petal. So I am not going to keep Petal. It just didn't work for me. All right, so moving on, I'm going to be color correcting with the Bobbi Brown Corrector stick in the color Light Bisque. Now, I have already used this, but we're going to put it on today to show you. I didn't really see much of a difference with this. It also was catching under the dry spots under my eye. So I wouldn't recommend this, but I'm going to show you what I mean. It does feel very creamy going on. It almost feels like the Merit foundation stick. So I'm going to be using this new Patrick Ta concealer brush that I got. I did use this already and I do not like it. So again, another thing that I will not be keeping. But we're just gonna go in and blend out the Bobbi Brown color corrector. And I don't know if you can tell, maybe this is probably my fault, but it's giving almost like a gray cast. It's not really doing much for correcting that purpley circle under my eye. Perhaps I didn't get a deep enough of a color. So I'm just going to take the fluffy side of the Patrick Ta brush and just kind of blend that line out. And then we're gonna go back in the other side with the more dense side. And this, for being as expensive as it was, shouldn't be scratchy at all. It should be very luxurious, but to me it's kind of scratchy, and I do again have very sensitive skin, so it could just be that my skin is too sensitive for it. So I'm gonna get really close and personal here. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but it is grabbing onto my dry patches. I don't know if you can see that right there. Yeah, it is really grabbing onto them, and it only accentuates those patches even more. When I'm trying to conceal something, I don't want to exaggerate something else. So this Bobbi Brown color corrector stick, even if I did get it in the right shade, it would probably still be doing that, as it's the same formula, different shade. So I would not recommend this at all for anybody who does have dry under eyes or any type of texture near their under eyes. Moving on, I did grab this Makeup Forever HD Skin Concealer in the shade 1N00. And this is something that I have come to really like. It doesn't accentuate any dry patches, it doesn't crease, and it goes on really, really smoothly. I'm going to continue using this Patrick Ta brush, but if it doesn't blend it well enough, which I found that it does not for the liquid, I'm going to go in with the Beauty Blender afterwards. Now with this concealer, a little does go a long way. It is very brightening, as you can see. I may have gotten a shade too light. It is very brightening. I was trying to match it with like my actual foundation. Maybe go like a little bit of a lighter shade than that, but perhaps it's the bronzer that's making it look very brightening. Now I wish I would have left one eye untouched of the Bobbi Brown concealer so I could show you how this is not creasing. But of course, because I put the Bobbi Brown color corrector under both eyes, it's going to be hard to show that, but just trust me on this. This is non-creasing. So the Patrick Ta concealer brush did not do a very good job of blending that out and taking away the creases, so I am going to be taking my Beauty Blender and just pressing that into my skin, making sure that it's nice and blended. Okay, so I think that's a little bit better, and as you can see, at least from what I can see in person, is that the color corrector doesn't really seem to do anything. And again, I wish I did a side-by-side to show you with and without the color corrector, but you'll just have to trust me on this. Like, I did a side-by-side in person myself just to really confirm it. The color corrector isn't doing anything for me. And again, that could be the depth. So maybe if you go to the right depth, if you have oily skin, this might work for you. For me, it does not work at all. And with or without the color corrector, the concealer looks the same. It's not really doing any color correcting for me. Texture-wise, it is accentuating my texture and it's making the concealer lay a little bit more texturized on top. But without the color corrector, the concealer lays beautifully, no creasing for me. So, love the concealer. Maybe I do need a bit of a darker shade. But here's what it looks like up close. All right, so moving on, we are going to be going in with powder. Now I have two powders to test here. I have the Makeup Forever HD Perfecting Pressed Powder in the color Lavender and the Givenchy Prisme Libre, or the Prism Libre, in the shade Mousseline Pastel. So the Makeup Forever one is entirely, it comes with this little brush here, and as you can see, I've used it before, so I can give you my impressions on it. But here is the lavender color. And then the Givenchy one comes with like this skinny brush. I don't use it. Doesn't work very well with it. And then here is the Givenchy one. It has all these colors in it. Now, what I've noticed between the two of these, number one, I don't notice much of a difference with them both laying on the skin. So the one that's going to be less money is the Makeup Forever one. I do feel like they perform almost identical. The powder is so finely milled. It does blur your skin. However, I will show you, it probably is just not my color. I thought, oh, maybe the purple will be good for color correction. For me, it does not work out very well. It's a little too bright. I will stick to my Huda Beauty Cherry Blossom, but just for the purpose of this video, I'll show you what happens. So I'm going to go in my left side with the Lavender Makeup Forever one. Just going to rub this in and then go a little bit on my just warming the product up on my wrist, and then I'm going to go in under my eye. Now, this isn't very good for this positioning. Maybe if you're going like on your forehead or like around your face area, but not great. It's a little too big for my eyes, so I kind of like fold it like this. And then we're just gonna press it in. And there's that side. And I'm also going to go in on my forehead with it because I do get a little oily up here. And it is very brightening, so if that's something that you like, you might really like the purple one. So that is what that side's looking like. And then we're going to go in with the Givenchy on the other side. It doesn't come with like a brush for like my under eye, so I'm going to take my own little Real Techniques little puff, and we're going to go in on the other side. Now this does have a scent, and if you know Givenchy, it's the same scent across all of the products that I've tried so far. So if you are not a scented or a scent lover, you might not like that. So I just went in like this, and now I'm going to take it under my eye on my right side. So this is how they are looking, Givenchy side, Makeup Forever side. Now since I don't have like one of those puffs that it comes with, I'll just take this brush. Usually I just take a big fluffy brush to go all around, but I'm just gonna go in with the brush that they give to you. We're just gonna go all over in the same places that we did on the other side. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a big fluffy brush and go over both of the sides and get off any of the excess. Now, from what I noticed here, they're performing almost identical, except for the Givenchy is grabbing on a little bit more to my dry patches. I'm trying to show you here. See how it's like creasing a little bit more into my inner corner, whereas this side, the Makeup Forever side, is not doing that. So like I said, cheaper on the Makeup Forever side, and it is performing a little bit better. So this Givenchy one, overhyped, I wouldn't recommend it. But the Makeup Forever HD one, I would recommend. If you want something brightening, go for the lavender. They also have a translucent one, so pick your poison. I like the Makeup Forever HD Skin Pressed Powder better. So I did not pick up any new powder bronzer from this Sephora sale, but I do have this Jones Road Beauty one in the shade Dusty Rose. And so this is the bronzer here. And I feel like it really goes well with the whole sunburnt vibe. So I'm going to go in with that. And we're just going to go all around the face with that. I don't feel like if there would have been like a Dusty Rose bronzer from Sephora, I would have gone with that just to test it out, but because they don't have that, we're just going to use what we have. Right, so there's that bronzer, and then the same thing for the powder blush. I didn't pick up anything because I couldn't really find anything that I feel like would suit me. So again, this is Jones Road, and this is the shade Rosy in their blush. So I'm just gonna go in with that. And this will kind of even out the sides so I don't look like a crazy person with two different blushes on different sides. And I like to go in with a smaller one on this one because that's all that can fit in there. So that's why I have such a small brush for this right now. I don't know why this product is so tiny though. I'm just gonna go ahead and blend all this out. I have here is this Haus Labs Rose Quartz. I'm going to use this as a blush topper. I'm going to go in with that same brush here. And so this is what it looks like here. I have used this quite a bit. Here is the color. It is like a very rosy quartz. Very pretty. It's a very pretty topper. So we're going to go ahead and top our blush with that. That'll be like our highlight. It just gives it a very nice pink sheen. Perfect for the summer, I feel like. I'm just going to blend that out just a little. And I do really like this. This is something I definitely would recommend. Doesn't really texturize and gives you a very, very beautiful glow on top of your blush. So moving on, we have these eye products. So I picked up these Sephora eyeliners, and so I have 3 shades of them here. We have this gray shade in matte charcoal gray, and they are very creamy. And then we have this dark brown shade in the color matte brown, and they're just like twistables, so that's really nice. And then they come with like a smudger on the other side. The one thing I don't like about it is that if you take off the cap, it takes off the entire smudger, so you have to like hold it and then get the smudger out. And then I have it in Shimmer Taupe. I really like this one for the waterline, and I like to do my tight line with the brown. Here's this one. Here are those 3 colors. We have the charcoal gray, matte brown, Shimmer Taupe. I'm just gonna go ahead and tight line my top eyelid with the brown. And I also like to go on the bottom portion and smoke out my eye. And I don't like to go farther than the start of where the colored part of my eye is. And I'm just going to take the smudger end and smudge it. Here's how that's looking. I think it looks very pretty. And then what I do is I go on my waterline with the Shimmer Taupe. And it kind of brightens it up without it being like white. I don't really like to go with white on my waterline. And it kind of cancels out the red as well. Here's how that looks. Now I'm just going to do the other side. So I've just gone ahead and did the other eye and my lips. Did the other eye exactly the same how I did the right eye. I'm sorry, I had to pause it because my camera overheated, so I apologize for that. But I did the other eye and my lips, and for the lips I did drugstore, and I did the Maybelline lifter liner in Big Lift and Maybelline lipstick in the color Pink for Me. 2 things I would never recommend buying from Sephora or anything high-end unless you're just really bougie like that are lipsticks, lip products, and mascara. So I also did my mascara with the CoverGirl Lash Blast Volume Mascara in Waterproof Black Brown. And the reason why I just would never recommend to buy any of this high-end is because there are drugstore equivalents that are the same, if not better, and I just don't think the price point matches what you're getting. I have tried high-end mascaras and lip products before, and it just, to me, it didn't differ enough and show enough of anything to justify the price tag. So what I recommend is just find a really good lip product from the drugstore, and you really can, because there's so many options out there. I really love the Revlon line. I have like 2, 4, 6, 8 of the Revlon. I have 2 of those Maybelline lipsticks. So I'm not going to come on here and just buy something and tell you that I like it and that you should buy it just for the fun of it, because this is your money. I want you to know what's worth your money, and I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, there's a luxury version of a mascara or there's a luxury version of mascara that works so much better than drugstore, because there's just not. I've tried so many mascaras from Sephora, I've tried Tarte, Hourglass, just so many different types, and none of them held up as well as this CoverGirl Lash Blast one, and it's my tried and true. I can't even stray from it anymore. I'm sick of trying because there's just nothing that can top it right now. And then same goes for the lipsticks. There's just nothing that can top it for the price point that I'm finding these drugstore ones at. So that's what I would recommend doing. Moving on, I have eyebrow products. Now I have two, both from Anastasia, and I did not buy any like eyebrow gels. I don't really have thick eyebrows as it is, and the one product that I'm about to show you I do not like. So it's this Anastasia Arch Brow pencil. First off, it doesn't have a cap. I don't know if it was supposed to come with a cap, but it doesn't have a cap, so the product is just there, and you can't really, just don't roll it up too high because you won't be able to roll it back down. It is a very thin tip, as you can see here. I mean, it's kind of hard to show you. It's a very thin tip. I'll show you the color. And the color that I have here is medium brown. Now, the problem with this and why I don't like it is because of how wide it is. Now, as you can see, my eyebrow is very thin, and it does not look, I can't use this because my eyebrow is not thick enough for it to not look wrong. Like, it's just too long, too wide. Perhaps if it was a little bit less wide, I could use it, but it's just not meant for, in my opinion, somebody with thin eyebrows like me. Again, it doesn't have a cap. To me, that's just unsanitary. There's no cap inside of the box or anything, so I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm definitely returning that. That is a big fat no from me. But I did get the Anastasia Beverly Hills Micro Stroke Brow Pencil in the shade medium brown as well, and I'll compare those two for you. This one is the pen that the micro stroke pen, and then this one was the Arch Brow, I don't know, medium brown. So almost the same. This one's just a little less opaque. And so I do really like this one. It does give nice little hair-like strokes. It does dry out a little bit, so I constantly have to be going like this to get some more product out from the pen, but it does work very nicely. The thing about the pen is it really does give those hair-like strokes. I can fill in any sparsities. And it just gives it a little bit more. Because my brows are so thin, I want something that looks very natural. So for me, this just does it for me. It's just annoying that the product gets dry really fast. See, as I'm putting it on, you can't even, like, it's not coming out. It's just really frustrating. So because of that, I might return it. But there's just nothing better out there. So it's just like frustrating to me. It's almost like the foundation is like clinging on to it, or like the other products, and it's like drying it out because it's picking up other products. But it does look really nice. I don't know. Let me know if you guys have tried this out, and if there's, I don't know, something that I can do to make it a little bit better for me. Moving on, last but not least is setting spray. Now I have two that I have tried both of here. We have the One Size Powder Melt and the Saie City set. Now I already have the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray and the Urban Decay All Nighter setting spray. And what I'm going to tell you is that if you have Charlotte Tilbury, you do not need either of these two. They're almost exactly the same. I did not do my research. What I was looking for was something that was long lasting, that would kind of melt the powders into my face without them and kind of take away maybe cakiness. and I was looking for something that maybe mattified it down just a little bit. None of these do that. They're all very glowy. Don't be me. Do your research. I probably should have gone for like the Charlotte Tilbury matte setting spray. That one I tried in store. It worked so well. I really wanted to try the Danessa Myricks blurring balm powder setting spray, blurring setting spray, whatever it is, the Yummy Skin one. But they were all sold out, and they still are sold out. So I should do my research on that one. It says that it was mattifying, long lasting. I'm not sure. Charlotte Tilbury is not long lasting. Neither are either of these two. Don't buy these thinking they're going to be like super long lasting. I did try the One Size Stay All Day setting spray. That one was so perfumey. I just kept sneezing. My eyes were watering, and it ruined my makeup because it looked like I was crying. So I do not recommend that one if you have if you're sensitive to aerosols like that. But from what it looks like, that is going to be a very long lasting one. For me, because I have the Charlotte Tilbury one already, I'm not going to recommend either of these, and I'm going to return both of these. Just not my favorite. They're just not long lasting. They're not different enough. But I will show you how the powder melt one is like. Now it has a very nice spray. It doesn't have any really scent to it, maybe just a tiny bit of scent. The spray is one of the nicest sprays that I have ever sprayed on my face. Now the City Set is kind of the same. I'll just go ahead and put this one on over top of it just to show you. They spray almost exactly the same, so I can see why people like both of them. The spray is very nice. I really do like it. It sprays very evenly. It really does make your makeup look really nice, but so does the Charlotte Tilbury one. And because none of them are doing anything different for me, that's the reason why I'm not going to keep any of them. Not that they're not good. I do think that they are highly recommended, these ones specifically, for a reason, but not reason enough for me to continue hoarding all the different kinds. Like the Charlotte Tilbury one does the same. Now, if you don't have any of them, I would just buy whichever one's the cheapest. Like, that's what I would recommend doing. Now that I know that they're all basically exact, like they feel the same, they look the same, you know, just get what's best for your wallet in that case. Okay, so we are at the end here. Thank you so much for staying and watching. We're just going to go through all of the products now, and I'm just going to look back on everything and just let you know, keep return. Maybe give you some reasons why. But everything's looking very nice here. Like nothing, it doesn't look bad at all. Like nothing looks bad. Everything looks like really melted and nice and is settling into the skin nicely for the most part. Don't know what's going on here. Let me take a closer look there. I think I just got some mascara on there. So we're just gonna ignore that for now since I've already sprayed it on. But other than that, everything's looking like very nice. Like I would go out like this. Nothing is like, nothing's like screaming out to me like, oh, this is bad. And that's a good thing because everything's very highly recommended. I wouldn't expect any of these items to be terrible because they have to work for the majority of people for them to get the reviews and the recommendations that they have. But again, a lot of the influencers out there are just doing it for the paycheck. Going backwards. First thing again, we've already gone over this. I'm returning both of these. The eye pencils, they work very well. I'm keeping these. The eyebrow pencils, I am probably going to be returning both of these. I'm going to have to think on the micro stroke, but the arc brow, definitely returning. The Makeup Forever HD, I will probably get it in a different color, but this one is great. So I'll be exchanging, we'll say. The Bobbi Brown Color Corrector Stick, returning, not for my dry skin. The Westman Atelier bronzing sticks, I'm probably going to keep just one of them, and that would be Cocoa. But Toast is going back. Now the blush sticks, I am going to keep Garçon and Dodo, but Petal is going back. It's not made for my cool, olive, neutral, don't really know, something along those lines skin. Haus Labs, the powder highlighter in Rose Quartz, keeping. Very nice. The Merit Complexion stick, The jury is still out on this one. I'm not entirely sure. I'm gonna have to see how it wears throughout the day, but I'm just not sure it's worth it. So I'm leaning on the side of returning it. Now for the brushes, I honestly am not too sure. I think the Saie one, the buffing one, it's very nice, but only with the merit. So like if I keep the merit, I'll keep the Saie, but other than that, I didn't really have much of a need for this buffing brush, and I'm gonna say if I return the merit, I'm returning this. Now for these two, I really do not like this Patrick Ta concealer brush. I'm returning this. Now the F4 brush, it's nice, but you can find brushes that are much cheaper than this that work exactly the same. This is not revolutionary. People are raving about it. It's 30 some bucks, $36 I think. It's just not worth it. I'm returning. The Eadem toner here, jury is still out. I don't know. I haven't used it enough to really get a hold of what it can do. So I'm going to be keeping it, but after I'm finished with the first bottle, we'll see how my skin feels and how it compares. Now the setting powders, if you have the Huda Beauty powder, either the pressed or the loose powder, you will not need either of these. It performs almost exactly the same. Nothing is revolutionary about either of these two. If you already have one that works well for you, just keep that one. There's no reason to get these. They're not going to change your life. So if you don't have any, I would recommend the Makeup Forever. If you have the Huda, still just use that one. Nothing too much different there. So that wraps it up here. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know what kind of video you want me to do next. I really love making these videos and helping you out. This also helps me out for the future. If I forgot I bought something, I will come back to these videos and see if I liked it or not and be like, oh yeah, I didn't like how it did this or that. So these are really helpful for myself, and I just hope that they are helpful for others as well. Please let me know what you want to see next, and I hope you have a beautiful day.